So first of all, let's think a little bit Jaya Mother to come in, and let's try to think about the words about this beautiful Krishna, about this beautiful Vrindavan, what's going on in this song. It's a very, very, very beautiful song. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so together today we read from Shrimad Bhagavatam. So we are looking forward and continue our classes, which take place every week in the morning, Saturday. And now we are first canto, chapter 12, on the text 33, and the chapter is Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam. Narayanam Namaskrityam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Naram Chaiva. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayamudiraye. Tato Jayam. Nashta Praveshva Badrishu Nityam Bhagavato Sevaya. Bhagavatu Tamashloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtikir. So, the text 33. Tatapi Pritam Alakshaya Harataro Chuta Charitaha Tanam Praginam Achrur Odityam Dishipurisha. So let's read the word for word translation. Tat his Abhipretam wishes of the mind. Alakshya observing. Haratara his brother. Achyuta the infallible Lord Shri Krishna. Choditaha being advised by. Thanam riches. Prahinam to collect. Ajahruha brought about. Udicham northern. Dishi direction. Purishaha sufficient. So the translation from His Divine Loving Grace, A.C. Bhaktivendanta Swami Prabhupada. Understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north, left by King Marutta. So we are reading here, it's the it's a list of these texts where the first we have heard in the 12th chapter that the Maharaj Parikshit is going to be born, and he's which qualities he has, and the rishis they are telling to Yudhishthira what he is going to be for a man, what for qualities he has, and then in the last text, it was said that just at this time King Yudhishthira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get freed from sins incurred from fighting with kinsmen. But he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus fines outside of fines and tax collections. So the king Yudhishthir was going to do a big sacrifice, so this horse sacrifice, Ashwamedha Yajna, but he had no money, a little of money. And so the money was there from the taxes and so on. And this money was only enough for the normal way of living of his kingdom. And he was going to do something big, a big thing. and therefore he needed some money. And now, what Prabhupada says, that understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised from the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north left by King Marutta. So there were some gold, we'll read about this now, and the brothers of Yudhishthira, the four other Pandavas, they went there because Krishna told them to do this, and they went there and collected some riches, some gold, some money, and so on. So now let's read the purport of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Maruta, one of the great emperors of the world. He reigned over the world long before the reign of Maharaja Yudhishthira, so he was before. He was the son of Maharaja Avikshit and was a great devotee of the sun god known as Yamaraja. His brother Samvarta was a rival priest of the great Brihaspati, the learned priest of the demigods. He conducted one sacrifice called Sankarayagya, by which the Lord was so satisfied that he was pleased to hand over to him the charge of a mountain peak of gold. You know, mountain peak of gold. This peak of gold is somewhere in the Himalaya mountains. Right down Himalaya. Go. And modern adventurers may try to find it there. So every of us, we can try if we need it. He was so powerful an emperor that at the day's end of sacrifice, the demigods from the other planets like Indra, Chandra, and Brihaspati used to visit his palace. And because he had the gold peak at his disposal, he had sufficient gold in his possession. The canopy of the sacrificial altar was completely made of gold. In his daily performances of the sacrificial ceremonies, some of the inhabitants of the Vaiyaloka, airy planets, were invited to expedite the cooking work of the ceremony. And the assembly of the demigods in the ceremony was led by Vishvadeva. By his constant pious work, he was able to drive out all kinds of diseases from the jurisdiction of his kingdom. All the inhabitants of higher planets like Devaloka and Pitriloka were pleased with him for his great sacrificial ceremonies. Every day he used to give in charity to the learned brahmanas such things as beddings, seats, conveyances, and sufficient quantities of gold. Because of munificent charities and performances of innumerable sacrifices, the king of heaven, Indradeva, was fully satisfied with him and always wished for his welfare. So he did big things, and that's why everybody loved him. Due to his pious activities, he remained a young man throughout his life and reigned over the world for 1,000 years, surrounded by his satisfied subjects, ministers, legitimate wife, sons, and brothers. I find it's interesting that here it's not said wives, legitimate wife, sons and brothers. Even Lord Shri Krishna praised his spirit of pious activities. He handed over his only daughter to Maharaji Angira, and by his good blessings, he was elevated to the kingdom of heaven. First of all, he wanted to offer the priesthood of his sacrifices to learned Brihaspati, but the demigod refused to accept the post because of the king's being a human being, a man of this earth. He was very sorry for this, but on the advice of Narada Muni, he appointed Samvarta to the post, and he was successful in his mission. The success of a particular type of sacrifice completely depends on the priest in charge. In this age, Kali Yuga. So nowadays, all kinds of sacrifice are forbidden because there is no learned priest among the so-called Brahmanas. Why go by the false notion of becoming sons of Brahmanas without Brahmanical qualification? In this age of Kali, therefore, only one kind of sacrifice is recommended, Sankirtana Yagya, as inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Interesting end of the purport, I think. So now let's read Mangal Charan. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Ginam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadanchitam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavantam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vidhamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishavano Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priyam Vanchakalpa tarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaham Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini, Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Yato Bhakti Rathakshaje, Ahaituki Pratihata, Yayatma Suprasidati, Yatavan Evalokesmin, Pumsam Dharma Parasmita, Bhakti Yogo Bhagavati, Tannama Grahanaditi, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gati Ranyata, Kali Kali Namarupa Krishna Avatara, Namahaiti Haita Sarve, Jagat Nishtara. Hare Krishna. So the text was, understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north, left by King Maruta. And I think it's an interesting point that we speak about last week, that, if we are in the position, after the war, everyone's dead, only me and my four brothers, so like you, are there. The rest, nobody there. So only, women, kids, and so on. Maybe some ill people, I don't know. But the most of them are dead. I don't have any money, so only a little bit from the taxes and so on, so that I can rule the kingdom in the normal way without something special. And what I do, not me, Maharaj Yudhishthira, what he does, he's going to do a big thing, this great horse sacrifice, which it means he needs real much money. He needs real qualified brahmanas. He needs them. And this is a point that Maharaj Yudhishthira doesn't have a materialistical way of viewing of this world. So he is real transcendental. He is understanding the whole universal vision. And the point is that he knows that the main point of economics is yagya. And we can read about this in Bhagavad Gita in the 3rd chapter from 9 to 15. That the point is that everything what we do, we have to do as a yagya, as a sacrifice. And Yudhishthira feels this, he has this bad feeling about after the war, because, he was the king who was doing the war against his relatives. So it's like it's not the best thing maybe, and he feels that's not the best what he does in his life maybe, and he feels that he has to do something to do this big sacrifice to pure himself and the whole country, the whole Bharat. So he has this global vision which has been lost nowadays because we are not learning these things from the universities or schools. What we learn there is a little qualification in one particular thing, but we do not learn the whole thing. What is the world is about? What is the universe is about? Who is Krishna? Who am I? So maybe some psychologists or I don't know who learn it, maybe they start to think about this question. But I do not know any university nowadays here in Europe which tells us that we are not a body, that we are a soul. And that's why there is a lack of such places. They give us this transcendental knowledge of Shrimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. That's why it's so important to come to the temples, to listen to these lectures, to read the books and to discuss the books with Vaishnavas, with other people, and to try to understand what it's about. Who am I? What's going on? And who am I real? And it's important to understand who I am not, because I think it's important to understand that I'm not the body, but then who am I? And this understanding of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is very important. And we there like I have seen some advertisement on the way to the temple, um, only way is through. So the only way to the understanding who am I is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Understanding that I'm not a body, I am an eternal soul, a part of Krishna, with some quality and with a lot of lack of quality. And we have heard in the beginning of the 12th chapter of first canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam of the qualities of Maharaj Parikshit. It's very interesting. And now we are on the place that the brothers of King Yudhishthir, they have been advised by the infallible Lord Krishna. And infallible, it means achyuta. So achyuta is one of the names of Krishna. It means infallible. And I think it's important to understand that here it's not said that his brother, so like Arjuna or Bhima, so the greatest or the one or the two, the brothers all together. So it means that the brothers understood this global vision of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and then they thought, which they didn't say to him, oh, it's really nonsense what you are going to do. We do not have any money, and let's now do something else. Let's do, I don't know what, let's sell something to get some money. If you want some money, you have to sell something. Nowadays, we think so. But Maharaj Yudhishthira here understands that if he needs some money, then he should do some sacrifice, some yajna. And for getting money, you have to give money. So it's this moving of this energy of Krishna, of Lakshmi. And I think it's very interesting and important that his brothers together, collected together, and they had to cooperate. And this is a very important point on this place. So if we see that our eldest brother or our, I don't know, the chef or the temple president, he is going to do something, he has a plan, then we should cooperate with each other and do it. Speak to him, of course, and then just do these things, but together, not just trying to show how good I am, how much I can, and how big I am, and I'm the biggest, and so on, but just try to cooperate with others. And Yudhishthira had a plan, and he has really this universal vision, Hare Krishna. and his brothers understand it, and they are trying to help them. So that's why that's the last point of Srila Prabhupada in his life on this earth, as he said that we have to cooperate, we have to work with each other, not against each other, because it doesn't make sense to work against each other, because otherwise we are not able to reach something real good. So this sangha, this working in a team, is very important. This is the first point which we have from this text, from this translation. So, and they, it said here, understanding the hearty wishes of the king. So the brothers, I think so, they collected together, thought about it, mananam, and then they collected together, thought about it, and then they have been advised by the infallible Lord Krishna. Because, if someone tells us, oh, we need a lot of money, then we say, where should we get it? I don't know, you tell me. And what they did, they just asked Krishna. And Krishna is a real person, and Krishna helps his devotees. And I think all of us have this experience that as we have needed this help, we have needed this example, or we have needed some advice. We just do not know what to do, and we try by ourselves because we are the biggest, and we have so much intellect, and we learn so much, and so on. But then we just maybe had this moment, then we understood, oh, I cannot reach what I want without Krishna's mercy, without Krishna's help. And Krishna always helps. This is so interesting that Krishna is not, he doesn't have somebody who he loves the most. So he loves us all, and he is going to help us all, whatever we are going to do, but only if we are going to do some spiritual development. Only this is where Krishna really helps. And Krishna understood, of course, too, this universal vision of Maharaj Yudhishthira. And nowadays we can say, oh, it's very great because Pandavas, they had Krishna as a friend. He was there like a real person like you and me, so they could just collaborate and talk about something, and they could go to him and just ask him, Krishna, tell me what to do. And Krishna would tell the whole Bhagavad Gita. He did it. Nowadays we would say, oh, where is Krishna? Who am I? I don't have such an opportunity. And devotees, what do you think? Which are the ways today how Krishna shows us what he wants, and how does he help? Got it.
Yeah, first I think the chapter and Sparnis. I don't know what the
Vaishnavas.
Vaishnavas, no.
Very good. What do you mean? What do you mean? So they give us these three things.
Yeah, so we can search in the holy scriptures for answers. We can share beautiful answers that we can ask all the Vaishnavas. Then for answers.
She understands it.
I understand it well.
This is our nature. Sometimes we know the theory very good, but the point where we have to act, maybe we lose this connection, and that's our experience we have to work on, that we really use this theory, that we really use this knowledge. And what she said is that was really great, that we have guru, and Krishna gives us a spiritual master, and the spiritual master can really tell us, do this or do that. And a spiritual master is not a crazy person who just tell you, go to Africa, be eaten by crocodiles, or I don't know, or just, I don't know what, some crazy things, because he understands who we are and which qualities we have and what we are able to do. So he is not a mean person who is going to do some bad things to us. Because a lot of people, they say, oh, spiritual master, I don't know, I have Srila Prabhupada, and I have maybe some deities at home, I don't know, and then I have the Shastra, and I know how to read the Shastra, I understand it very good, I don't need any spiritual master. And it's not right, it's false. Because only spiritual master, and we need this one living spiritual master, living being, who can give us an advice according to ourselves. Because this knowing of ourselves can only come from above, from the others. You know, in my mind, I'm always right. If I read a book, I understand it how I can understand it, and then it doesn't matter what I am thinking about, I'm always right. I'm never false. And this is so beautiful at home, alone, you know, I have only good quality. I have only the best vision, and only me really understands the Shastra. And it's very often so that the people start to practice the science of Krishna consciousness, and they are always right in their minds, and then they come to temples, or they come to some senior devotees, and the senior devotees are so merciful that they are trying to destroy our false ego, and it's very painful, and we feel this pain, and we think, oh, bad people, I leave because I am, and so on, and this typical thing. And I want to aware you about this thing because it's very um, it's destructive. It's destructive to always be right because you know this point of understanding that it could be, maybe it could be a point where I do not know the whole thing. This is the beginning. It's like now, you know, the whole world, they are speaking about viruses after seeing a 30-minute YouTube video from some people, I don't know from what. And maybe we should really try to speak about things which we are qualified on. So because now, for example, I'm speaking about things I'm not qualified in, and that's why I really need your mercy and your blessings that we can together speak about this. And I find re, the good time for the words so that they pass together, you know, otherwise it doesn't mean sense. And this having of global vision we can get only through Guru, because Guru gives us power, Guru gives us the connection, and Guru gives us a chance. And what is the point of beginning of, or what is the beginning of the whole relationship to the Guru is, what do you say? Some of us or some of you have a Guru, and what was the beginning of your spiritual connection to the Guru, Tauji Guru? What was your?
Why was I always get from the origin
Yes, yes.
there was nothing special.
Yes. Of your senior devotees, of your helpers. That's a great point. So you know, a guru gives, so the modern ISKCON gurus, they give so much lectures. They rise through the whole world. And nowadays with this beautiful Zoom and Facebook and so on, we have so much opportunities to get these instructions. And like Dauji Prabhu said, the point is just in the following the instructions. That's it. So you know, everyone has the chance, but not everyone follow. You know, so the instruction in the lecture, they are the same words for all the devotees, for all the pupils, you can say, or aspirants, university way. But not everyone follows, because all the time we find some things that we say, oh, I do not have any time. I do not have power. I do not have time because I have to work, because I have to go with my dog. I don't know. I have to care about my parents. I have to care about my cat. I have to care about something else. That's why I do not follow. And I'm cool about it. Yeah,
For me, I'm not cool about it.
that's good.
But I'm always in this position that I hear the instructions, and I'm just very conscious about it, that I'm now not at the point to follow this instruction to take shelter of the guru. That means like really make the vows. Like, and yesterday I was reading in this book from Radhanath Swami, what is it, Rivers of Wisdom, I think, yes. And there was he was reflecting on this on the question of the aspirant, maybe, on this theme that by giving the vows, you like promise to chant 16 rounds, to follow all the principles, and then you this are the things you
The
say.
whole thing.
Yeah, and then he and this aspirant asked, but Swami, what if I cannot
Yes.
always do it? And Radhanath Swami says what Prabhupada says, because he got this question too from a like aspirant, and Prabhupada just said, how can you even ask this question? So this is it's a conflict. When I feel I'm not ready and have the instruction, what can I do? It's such a situation that's strange, because I don't feel the determination. I don't know. And about determination, I read another thing in this book, and so yeah, I don't know what to do about it. So
it's a very good question. We have an instruction, but we do not have the power or the empowerment or the inspiration to follow the whole thing. So I'll ask, what do you do? What is your way of getting through this dilemma?
yeah, for the time being.
You suffer. You
yeah,
suffer.
I'm suffering from it, yes.
That's a very good point. To suffer.
And sometimes I take on some things from the vows, like I chanted 16 rounds for 2 times for about half a year, and then I just left it, and I was not chanting any round, and I took on maybe 4 rounds, and then I left it again, and so I don't know what's my problem. and
so this is this waves of.
And then the waves, and the waves are really frustrating.
Really frustrating.
And then I read about Sangha again. You have to be a good Sangha.
Of course.
But yeah. So,
it's hard.
Yeah.
I really understand you. It's really hard. So maybe the others understand her too, don't you?
Okay. The comment to this question, for example, I have heard many times I'm not ready. But it's very important to do first step, and also spiritual master is that person which give us power. For example, if we go to the shop and we have no money, Yaakov give us instruction, go to the shop, but we have no money to buy something, and he give us the money also. I mean, when we want to follow spiritual master, he will give us power. We need to have that desire to follow, and that's very important for give us power. We need to be connected, because our life is too short, and we will think I'm not ready. We will never. That's really important. When okay, we can always fall down, and we should stand up and go make next step, but next step. Never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah, that's yeah. And he will help us, because it's guru. It's guru. Guru, it's special energy of not just our Guru, it's special energy of Krishna. It's very powerful energy. It give us this power, can connect us to the Krishna because we connect to Krishna through the Guru Param. It's not just philosophy, it's what I feel. Because when I was connected to the spiritual master, my experience was that he always gives the power. I more serious to know that public organization.
Yeah. But that brings me to the conclusion that I am in fact not really 100% willing to follow the path. So that's the underlying problem. That everyone maybe who doesn't follow it or what? Because you said you have to want to follow the instruction.
It's a great point. You're like Arjuna at the end of the first chapter. So you know everything's falling from the hands, and Krishna, I'm not ready to follow the path. I'm the most fallen, or one of the most. And depression, yoga of depression. It's a great point. We really, really, really need it to understand that we with our, or me with my powers, with my forces, it's not enough. That's why we really need this mercy. This is the next step. So we need some days when we do the vows and follow them. And my question or my answer or my comment will be first from the Shastra, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Prithvi. So we follow his path. The question is, how do you, what do you call the path? Because you said you're not now able to follow the path, you mean now the highest level. 16 rounds, 64 rounds, I don't know, every day, full program, 20 Achman, the whole things. This is a real nice Brahmanical standard. But what do you think, you personally, what is the most important in Krishna consciousness? Just what you think. So I think we're in a cool place with cool people. Then you can tell what you think or what you mean.
It's doing something that Krishna is loving. So
that's bhakti.
And if I like surrender to all the prescribed things and without love, he won't look at it.
No, he doesn't want a robot. If he would like, he would buy some. You know, he would take some. He doesn't want you to become a mechanical thing that you are just following the instructions without the real manifestation of love inside. And the Shastras, the Padma Purana says, Smartavyo satatam vishnur vismartavyo nachatuchid sarve vidhi nishedasyur evayo eta kinkaraha. So the most important regulative principles are thinking about Krishna and never forget. This is a real freedom. You know, the 16 rounds, or I don't know, 64 rounds, it's just a letter, it's just a way of becoming some purified, of becoming, to get us away from the normal way of living where we maybe just spend 2 or 3 hours a day by drinking some alcohol. Or I don't know, maybe you're not. So I mean just in the whole. So, and Prabhupada gives us, or gave us, a possibility to use our 2 hours a day in a real good quality mood. But what should we do if we do not have this normal standard enthusiasm as others maybe have? And I think it's like in sport. You know, if you're coming to the Olympic program, Olympic team, and like me, you're just a real beginner, and you start to train as the Olympic people, I'll die. In 20 minutes, I'll die. So my knees, they will be disturbed, and the whole, I don't know, something will happen, and I will never come again. Because I understand where am I and where are these Olympic trophies. They are really cool. But think about it, they are doing this thing the whole life, and it became a normal thing for them. And in sport, it's very important, like in traveling, to understand where am I. So it's important to have a map where we are going to do. So you like, like a small map of looking for some money which was grabbed inside of the earth from the pirates or so on. There is a map. But if you have the map without knowing where you are, or if you have a false map, so if we go to Berlin and we have a map of Amsterdam, I do not think that we will be able to come to the point where we want to, because it's a false map. And if we have a map and we do not understand where we are, where is our level, then we are not going to come. That's why nowadays this navigation with GPS is so good, because it tells you you're here. And this is a very important thing. I think that now it's a great month for this Purushottama month. We have 15 days more. And the day before yesterday, we had this full moon of Purushottama, which we have every 3 years, something about. It's a very good time to think about who am I and where am I and what do I want? Why do I want it? Why do I do things which I do? Am I free enough to do these things because I want it? Or am I now not free enough and I do things because someone wants this from me? And I do not mean now the spiritual part only, I need the whole life. So think about what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Is this what you really want? Or is this a thing which society wants, which parents want, which the husband want, or I don't know. This is very important to understand where we are and to take the vows according to our nature. And as Krishna says here, as all surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So accordingly, it means that we are not free from our guna karma. So we have our guna, we have our karma, we have the whole way of reincarnations here on this planet, or maybe other planets, I don't really know. And that's why we have to understand which are my borders. What can I do? What I can't do? And it's important to take a vow that I can follow, and that I can follow really regularly, so every day. So I think it's better to take one round every day with the whole heart, to take only 5 minutes or 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I don't know how much time you need for this. It doesn't matter. I know people, they need 15 minutes to chant one round. Of course, they need the whole day to chant 16 or 32 rounds. And maybe it's not the perfect vow for them. But for Krishna, it's not important that we chant 16 rounds like a robot. It's important for him that we chant and that we are happy. And if we cannot follow now the 16 rounds, the whole 4 regulation principles, so then we shouldn't be depressive about it, but try to follow what we can. So just start to do something, because Krishna will appreciate it, and he will regard us according to the thing that as we show him that we want something. And I think really that 1 or 2 or 4 rounds with a real mood of wanting it is better than 16 rounds and automatically, looking Facebook or watching TV, I don't know what doing, and chanting loud like a robot. It will not be some happy thing for us. I understand your suffering and this desire to be better. It's very good. And the point is that Krishna accepts you personally as you are. He knows you really. So he knows the real you, not the mask, which we have nowadays so much masks, we have to wash them. And this is the same as we have this emotional masks, you know, we have some roles to play, father, son, brother, I don't know, wife, or something else, like a worker. And we always, or we pretty often, we use some masks of emotions, which we think the society wants us to carry. And the point is that Krishna knows the real us. So he knows you, who you really are. And he appreciates every little thing you do for him in a good mood of willing to do this for Krishna, just for him. And it could be a small thing. And it would be better as a big thing, but done in the mood of I have to, I must, because I do it just mechanically. I'm like a machine. It will not make you happy. But I think that small steps are even better than the great jumps, because we jump and then we fall, we jump and then we fall. And we have to find our Shri Jagannatha Bhagavad Gita, Shri Gaudiya Gita. We have to find our velocity. So the speed which we can use to develop us on the Krishna consciousness. And once I've heard a lecture with the same question, and the answer has demolished me. It was really so. I thought, whoa, he really meant it. I don't know if I have to tell it now. Okay. The question was like pretty the same as you had. And the Swamiji said, it's not a problem. Next life. You don't have to follow. It's not a problem. You do it next life. Yeah. And maybe it's so. You never know. You never know. And I think if we come to a guru and say, Guruji, it's so and so, I am so and so, please accept me as I am. I am now maybe not ready to get the first, second initiation, or I don't know what, to do the puja, or I don't know, whatever. But I am here. I am. This is important to understand. We are alive. And we have some emotions, we have some qualities, and they are really beautiful. And you know, Guru, it's such interesting Guru Tattva. They see only the best in people. Only the best in people. And they really do not pay so much attention as we think to the bad qualities of us. So I think if we have someone in our heart, and now I'm not speaking about the Diksha Guru who is going to give you Diksha, so the first initiation, or then the second, the Brahmanical. I'm speaking about the Vaishnavas that you see that they can give you a shelter in the information, in the knowledge, in the caring about you, in the just maybe friendship relationships. They are gurus too. You know, there is a great book, I think, in the Bhakti Sandarbha, I think, it's said about 24 gurus. So we can, at the highest level, we can learn from everyone. And then there was going about 24 gurus that they are some symbolical. Maybe I can find it for you. And in the real, we can learn from everyone how to act or how not to act. If we see some people who are acting, you know, nonsense, then we can say, oh, thank you. I will not do this. Maybe you shouldn't tell them this, but they are guru too. Or you know, like Bhaktivendanta Swami Prabhupada, he told that the people who are who who give you pain, who are always picking you. They are the best gurus for you, because Krishna sent them that you are going to become more honest and humble. And it was a point, there was some Ayava sannyasi, as I know, who always came to the lectures of Bhaktivendanta Saraswati, and he asked really, really painful questions all the time. He sat at the back, always, in such pose, like I know everything. Maybe he knew everything. We never know who is there. And he always asked some crazy questions. So he was always terrifying Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. One day, he left his body. It happens. It will happen with all of us. Trust me. One day, he left the body, and the devotees came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and said, yes, he's out. He will never come again. He will never come again. He's dead. And he started crying. And they were confused. Guru, what's up? What's going on? He was always boring you. He was always insulting you, and he wasn't a good guy. And he told, he's my best guru, because you always say that I'm right. You always like me. It's very good. I like this too. But he was the one who was making me a better, humble person. It's an interesting way. It's an interesting vision. That's why in real life we can learn from everything, from everyone. But it's maybe the next step. The first step is try to find our level and try to follow some vows. It's not about to follow everything you can find, because if you read the Vedas are full of prescriptions. So, and if you follow the whole prescriptions, you need about, I calculate, about 6 or 8 hours before you start to chant, to clean everything, to clean the temple of the heart and so on. It's pretty much it. But this is, this is a normal Brahmanical standard. And for Brahmanas, it's a normal way of life all the time in this, now we can say, purity. But it's not normal for the normals of us, or I would say for me, it's not normal for me. And that's why I'm starting step by step to move at the direction which Prabhupada gave us. And if not now, maybe next life, I don't know. But it's not, I do not think it's a point where we have to be upset, where we have to be sad. But of course, sometimes we lose our enthusiasm, and it's so important to come to Sangha. Like the Pandavas, they had this great Sangha, and they wanted to help the king Yudhishthira, to their brother, to collaborate with each other and to do something for their brother and for their kingdom, for their land. And what they did, they collected sufficient riches from the north. And maybe we could see this like a symbolic thing. So if we collaborate with each other and do the things which our temple president or our senior devotees want, so the guru wants, because the temple president is just a representation of the guru in our city, in our town. So then, if we do so, and if we follow the instructions of infallible Lord Krishna or temple president or the senior devotees, then we can collect sufficient riches from the north. And this sufficient riches, it doesn't mean the real, like here, a lot of gold, but we can get real good things through following of this instruction. And sometimes we forget to look at others, at the people that we have here or there or somewhere, anywhere, to look at them as to a part of Krishna. So we judge too much. So our mind is going to judge, or he's fat, he is stupid, he's I don't know, or she's I don't know, so and so, and I'm of course the best, the most, and so on. But we have to know that Krishna is the best. Krishna is the most beautiful. But the others, they are small parts, the eternal parts of Krishna, and every of you, you're beautiful people. And this way of thinking that I am worth of it. I have my talents. I have some emotions that are unique. Krishna needs them. Krishna wants you personally, not Krishna wants you. You know, like this judging uh, devata from Greece, which is blind and just judging. Krishna wants you personally, and he opens his eyes and he has this beautiful smile on his face because he really wants to connect with you personally, with your unique qualities. And as you know, it was a moment before the war on the Kurukshetra as Krishna went to Duryodhana and he offered him, Duryodhana, what do you want in the war? I want to help you some kind of way. And what would you choose? Me, even if I do not conquer, if I do not take uh, place in this war? Or do you want my great army? And all of you, I think, know which decision Duryodhana did. And he decided himself for the army of Krishna. And this is the symbolical question for us. What do we want? Do we want Krishna on our side? Or do we want his army in the meaning of money, room, room, uh, glory, and you know the whole best things which Krishna has? What do we want? Do we want this small things? Because you know, if even if you're really rich, you're going to die, and you cannot take this whole things to the next life. Maybe some karmical things, yes, but not this money. So if your home is full of banknotes, you know, maybe it will help you for some time, but not for all the thing. And the point is to get Krishna on our side and to ask, what do I have? And the most of us, I think, we are not ready to work. We are not ready to to be in this devotional service. And sometimes we say, "Oh, Krishna, it's cool that I know you. Maybe give me some." And this, and the cake, and the car, and I don't know what you always know it in your um, um, in your mantras what you want from Krishna. It's a normal way of connecting with a big personality like Krishna that we get something from him. But our point is to connect with him, really with him, and to get him on our side or to get us on his side. And the point is of which Prabhupada says at the end of the purport that in this age of Kali, therefore, only one kind of sacrifice is recommended, Sankirtana Yagya, as inaugurated by Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was this verse that I always read at the beginning, Kali Kali Nama Rupa, Krishna Avatara, Nama Haiti Haita Sarve, Jagat Nishtara. It's about this verse, or these words are about this verse. That the only way of yagya in this life, in this time in Kali Yuga, is the Sankirtana yagya. And maybe we know what is kirtan. You know, sometimes we listen to really good kirtan, and some kirtaniya is singing like, oh, Indra Prabhu, or I don't know which you like. But here is important to understand that at home we can do kirtan alone. It would be kirtan, but not sankirtan. Because this meaning of sankirtana, san is together or fully. And the meaning of this is that we really do this Sankirtana Yajna if we do it together, and then if we collaborate really good, because in a kirtan where a lot of kirtaniyas, it's always someone who is playing karatals like in other mood, all pretty always. And it's not a real Sankirtana because we have to follow. Kirtan is, so real kirtan is the kirtaniya says something, most of the times Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then we reconnect us. So we answer in the same mood. So the kirtaniya gives us the mood and we answer. And this is this which makes it Sankirtana, that we sing together and like a fully whole thing. And sometimes in the kirtans where when we start and then he sings so, she so, and then it's a little bit so like cacophony. And then at one point it comes to a really beautiful thing. And the point is, as even if you have been singing in the court, they always say you have to sing so that you are not loudly as the next one. Sometimes in a real great kirtan, we want this power of us, which coming out, it's very good. But the point of Sankirtana is giving the others, so to giving others the opportunity to show themselves. And this is the best thing, one of the best things I see in the Vaishnavas, that they are helping others to get some. So they are helping, the other Vaishnavas help us on our way to Krishna. And it's so important, this Sankirtana, so to collaborate with each other and to speak about Shrimad Bhagavatam, because as I said, if we are reading Shrimad Bhagavatam alone at home, we're always right, and we can understand it only in the way we can think. And we have our borders. And if we come and speak about Shrimad Bhagavatam with others, they can give their visions, they can give some advices. Some of them have heard this lecture, some of them have heard that lecture. And some of us have a practical view on things, and that's why it's so important. Then I would read some, at the last minutes, I would read some important verse from Madhya Lila. It's 22:54. If you would like at home to read it, or if the devotees on air want to read with me together. 22:54. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrikayam, Lava Matre, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhikayam. And the translation is, the verdict of all revealed scriptures, of all revealed scriptures, it is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. So that means that this sadhu sangha, this coming together with Vaishnavas, is so important. And I think the purport for this verse is really great. The purport, one sense. According to astronomical calculation, a lava is 1/11th of a second. That's it. That's it. So Prabhupada doesn't say any more to this verse. And the verse was Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrikaya. Lava Matre, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhikaya. And this Lava Matra, even for a moment, is the literary translation. And in the purport, Prabhupada says, according to astronomical calculations, a lava matra, is 1/11th of a second. So it's just, I don't know, 1/11th of a second. It's really, really one little moment. That's why it is so important to look for the times that we cannot connect to the senior devotees, that we can. Huh? Lava is 1/11th. So 1/11th of the second. And lava matra, even for a moment. So lava, moment, matra, even for. And this sadhu sangha, association with a pure devotee, This is so important. And that's why this communication in our Gemeinde, in our community, communication in a community, you know, so these two words, they are so by each other. So it's so important for us to come together and to think about what Krishna wants from us, like a community, and to just follow his instructions. And I would like to end with the words of Bhagavad Gita. It's 10:25, because a lot of people, they say, oh, the whole thing, Mahamantra and so on, it's only 500 years old. It's nothing. It's only the new way or new age. I don't know. It's pretty new. And only the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never knows who he is. He just brought this because he liked to sing. But no, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says in 10:25, of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So I think that the verse here we have read about collected sufficient riches from the north and about this mountain, and about this mountain with a peak of gold. It's maybe about Krishna. Because you know, Krishna says here, and of immovable things, I am Himalaya. And this peak of gold is in the Himalayas. So, you know, it's just, I do not think that it's just Sufai. It's just happens so. And Srila Prabhupada writes, of all the transcendental vibrations, the Omkara, represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the purest representation of Krishna. And as I see on myself, each time I chant the Maha Mantra, something is changing. Something is changing. Hare Krishna. So something is, so our heart is going to be cleansed, and we are going to purify our heart. And maybe we can just then end with this beautiful lecture with some chanting together. So let's just chant 3 times. Please close your eyes and only think on your breathing. Just leave everything you think about your home, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, wives. I don't know what you like about prasadam. Please, 1 minute, think about something else. Close your eyes. Just breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And it's really about only to chant the mantra and listen to it. Let's try this only 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And now slowly, by opening your eyes, try to feel this. Try to feel this experience of Sankirtana as we did it together and just mean it. It's so important to have this experience in our hearts. Okay, devotees, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. And we have spoken today about the importance of Harinam Sankirtana Yagya. We have told about the importance of Sadhu Sangha and the importance of collaborate or of working together and doing some things really together under the instructions of the of a tutor of the infallible Lord Sri Krishna. And of course, we have talked about the vows, and we can see this this following of this regulative principles like a sport. So we should find for us a level we can follow and do something else, something more, one step more. You know, it's like in a sport. You can do 20 times and then do 20 times and one. And then the next years or months, I don't know, you do 21. And then if you're okay with this, you do 22. And there is no way, no border for chanting, because Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says that we should chant all the time in our hearts. Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. And maybe now we have some few minutes at the end for your questions, comments, and so on. You're welcome. Maybe on internet, if someone wants to think or wants to ask, to comment. Geta, can you please take a look on Facebook? It's there maybe in the chat, because it's the other side of the phone.
Other side of the phone?
Which I do not see. You see the display. That's
I
great.
see you and
That's great.
who is there,
But no questions.
I don't know.
I see here is a question from the auditorium. Krishna Prabhu. For this horse sacrifice. He wanted to do this horse sacrifice because he has this universal vision to do this sacrifice after this whole sins. He is still a very Brahmanical man. He's a Kshatriya, of course, but he was raised in a Brahmanical style, Brahmanical way, and he feels these sins, грех чувствует. And he feels the scenes about of killing the relatives, about killing Bhishma and Drunas, about killing his guru, you know. And that's why he wants to save himself. And I think it was said before. Maharaj Yudhishthira wanted to perform the sacrifice under the instruction of Bhishmadev. So we read about this in the 9th chapter, that Bhishmadev, as he was dying and he was laying there, he told some instructions to the Pandavas, and he told Yudhishthira that the whole thing what was happened is because of the wanting of Krishna. So it was the Krishna's goal, it was the Krishna's plan. But at the end, they were going to do this great horse sacrifice. And that's why he needed this big amount of money. Yes, at this Ashwamedha Yagya. So they were going to take a very special horse. It's a horse that we do not have today, trust me. We do not have today horses that can ride so great distance. And this horse, it was about that this horse, through the mantras of the Brahmanas, of the pure Brahmanas, the horse got some special powers, and the horse was running through the whole world, through the whole planet. And on the one side, the kings of this lands, of these countries, they had to accept, or they could accept, the horse and the Maharaj as the king of the whole thing of their country. Or they could say, oh no, we do not like this. And then the Maharaj should go there to get into a war with these countries. So this horse sacrifice, this Ashwamedha Yagya, is about showing the power of this person, of this king, so that he is going to be a king of the whole countries, of the all of the countries. And it's interesting that at this moment, this horse was really welcomed in all the countries. So all the people, as they saw this horse, they were dancing and singing because all of them understood how pure and how great Maharaj Yudhishthira is. So we could say it's a showing of power, but it's a showing, it's giving of an opportunity to other kings to tell, okay, Prabhu, I accept you, or they don't. And if they don't, they have to get into war with him. It's a really not an easy thing, as the war is over, everyone's dead. So pretty almost the whole people are dead. And only Yudhishthira is able to get to this Ashwamedha Yagya in this sacrifice to maybe get into another war. But it was he is following the instruction of Vishnudev and the instructions of Krishna, and he understands that this yagya, this real yagya, will connect the whole countries, and this will give him the real position which he really has as the king of Bharata. And this would help the next one. So this would help the Maharaj Parikshit to rule in the same way as Yudhishthira. Okay, if that's enough for you today, so then Hare Krishna, thank you so much for coming. Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Gaur Premanandi.